Think about, man, when the most recent the pick that they brought up about GP not running the full clear out route. It's like, yeah, but everybody still got on
that still.
So
I'm hearing from Ben, he was blaming a lot of it on Pickens. He said like 90%.
You got to clear it out.
Burleson said on the broadcast, he was the first to point it out, and then I think, oh man, there was someone else who was talking about it too. I can't remember. Oh, T.O., yeah. T.O. put Pickens on blast too on Twitter.
Yeah, he said you got to clear it out, run the route, not just when you're getting the ball.
Yeah, part of me is just like, though, still, Russ, the ball's in your hands. Like, you do kind of got to be able to like read that and make that decision still.
The only reason I say yes and no is this. We're speaking out both sides of our mouth when we say anticipate and throw it open before you see it, because you're banking on everybody being where they're supposed to be. That's how I can anticipate you. If you're not going to be where you're supposed to be, so now I actually got to read, did you run the clear out? Did you hold that safety? Now I got to come back to, did Moof beat the middle of the field? Is it open? We've lost that window. So just like the timing of it, it's that, I
get it. You're throwing in between seams and zones and stuff. You got
and it's happening so fast. It's like,
I get it.
I got to just know that you're going to run your clear out, and that safety has to react. Like, has to. You know what I mean? Now, we could obviously get on it and say, hey, man, well, should you still have thought about it, right? And I think that's a different convo, but I think now we're coaching and talking about a lot other things versus the simple of, how did this happen? The simple cause was, you don't run the clear out. That safety
quarterback sucks.
Isn't all the way over, and now we got to issue a QB versus if you just run your route the right way it's supposed to, regardless if you get the ball or not, just run your clear out. Now it's a touchdown. The game feels different. The way that we're looking at the quarterback feels different, and everything that kind of has transpired since then, we're kind of looking at
what happened on the play before that. Who got the holding? Maybe if the holding doesn't happen,
that's also a good call. Self-inflicted, right? But that's part of the Tomlin approach, man, offensively and defensively. It's like, usually we're not the ones having that holding penalty. The track record is proven. It's like, you just the other team that makes the self-inflicted, and now we're like, oh, how did they
at least
it work like that?
That's what it was when we were 10-3. Right. These last 3 games,
we've been the ones making
the penalties. We're
turnovers.
We're turning the ball over, and then we're not getting the turnovers either.
Yeah, because that's been our recipe for success. Not highly penalized, and we dominate the turnover ratio.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, with the Pickens route. My question is, I was really curious about this when Burleson was calling it out, like on the spot on the broadcast. How do you know for a fact he's supposed to be running a vertical there?
The reason why you could tell is just the route combination. So, like, it's kind of like when we talk about, like, defense, I always say, like, it's a puzzle. Like, regardless of college, high school, pros, I don't even have to be in the huddle. If you've done it enough, though, you just know enough piece, and it's like, okay, if you're a middle runner here, you're the deep third here, that means you got to be seam flat. And if you're not seam flat, then it's vertical hook. It's either 3 or 2, like however you're playing it based on those 2 guys. So for Nate, he thinks of it offensively. He's like, spacing wise, if Moof is running the middle of the field part, what is somebody has to be responsible for the clear out of this other defender. Who is that guy? And that's why he's able to look. It took me to see Pickens running the out and never wheeling it back up to know, okay, that's on him. But I had to look at it defense first, then offense. I processed it as, it's cover 2, Tampa 2, you got a middle runner. Who holds that backside safety? Nate saw it as, that's a middle field play right here. Somebody spacing-wise has to pull this out. Otherwise, you're going to get what you get, which is that free safety just staring at the quarterback the whole time. So that's why he was able to see it as fast. But this dude been doing that thing for,
You think it was an option route for Pickens?
Personally, no.
Has he got to be reading the safety there? And
I don't think
it
was. I don't. But at the same time, I don't know.
Like, why would he do that then? You know what I mean? I think that's what I'm wondering.
People look at it like this, right? You'll question, why did he do that in hopes that it was for a valid reason, whereas for players...
No, I'm not even looking for it. I'm just...
No. So
what are you doing?
For the players, we simply look at it like this. You knew you weren't getting the ball, so you ran a half-tail route.
Oh, man.
Like
don't tell me this is happening.
I know, but that's like,
don't tell me.
That's how we look at
no.
it. You know what I mean? But it's like...
I thought we were over that.
People don't want to hear that. People don't like that, but that's why you see T.O., you see Nate, you see Ben, and they came out and was like, right away, this isn't on Russ. No. Because what were fans saying? As soon as it happened, hey, that's on Russ. Russ, you suck. What was you looking at Russ? And it's like, how can he anticipate if you're not going to do your job regardless if you're getting the ball or not? And that's why we say it doesn't matter if you're getting the ball or not. You got to make every play 100% right. Otherwise, it affects more than just you.
Were we down 13-0 at that point?
I don't even remember. But it's like we bring it up in various situations about various times, and it's like, yo, how many times does it come back in a turnover? Or how many times did it actually affect you? This isn't the first time, but it's like, this is probably the first time where it actually was this loud, where it was like, oh yeah, we can actually point to it this season and say, yeah, that was on you for that right there. But it's just a part of it, man. Like, we don't like it. Yeah. And we're not saying that that's something that you are going to continue to see. But with younger players, you still run that, yo, he's a younger guy.
We've been seeing it with him too often.
So it's like, that's the constant reminder. And I'm sure Coach Tomlin, when they went into that meeting room, he put it up on the big board. Hey, you don't do that, this is what happens.
You know who the one guy to defend him was, though, in the media?
Yeah.
Tomlin.
It was
just Tomlin. Because even Russ said. He
has to, though, bro.
Even Russ said in the press conference, he was like, yeah, I was expecting Pickens to run a different route there. He wasn't throwing him under the bus or anything, but literally everybody but Tomlin said that's on Pickens.
Russ, as a teammate, did it the professional way. If I can protect you without putting it on me, I could just simply say, I thought he was going to do something different, or it was just miscommunication. We're on the same page. You and me know what that means behind closed doors, but publicly, I'm not embarrassing you. I'm not trying to, make you look bad. Coach T, you're the head of the ship, bro. Dude. If Coach T comes out and he's like,
keeps defending Pickens, and Pickens keeps proving him wrong.
Yes and no, though. Yes, he's proving him wrong in the sense of you keep seeing stuff happen, but no in the sense that dude still is our leading receiver in the impact. So it's like,
Pickens. I get it. And especially at this point in the season, there's no reason to
you see what I mean?
Make a media storm out of this right now with 2 games left.
It's like you
I get it.
Highlight
Tomlin's
it,
handling
you get
it right.
on him. Yeah, you highlight it, you get on him indoors. Indoors, he probably got on him for real in front of all the guys in the big room. Just being a part of the meetings, you see that and you're like, it gets really uncomfortable. But that's how you grow from that. Because if you don't address it there and you don't address it media-wise, now what's the message you send to those players? Now we're like, yo, is this acceptable? It's like, you could just say what you want, do what you want. If you ain't getting the ball, yeah, man, you do what you want, man. So if the blitz isn't called for me, I ain't got to rush that hard. If I'm the clear out, so that way Beanie Bishop can run underneath on the blitz. Hey, I don't want to go up top. I want to go inside. If you TJ Watt, you get to go inside every time. Like, that's how you start to look at it. We don't always call it apples to apples like that, but that's what it is. Your clear out is you're the free rusher on the blitz. You run up here to clear it out for the guy coming behind you, man. Not everybody wants to be that, though. Some dudes want to be, if it's not me, if it's not designed for me, I don't want it. I don't think he's all the way like that. I just think that we're seeing little, just young guy stuff, man.
And those have been the concerns about Pickens up to this point, and Tomlin not addressing it in a more like serious fashion. Like what type of tone or what type of message does it send to the rest of the players in the locker room? But I think Pickens has been gradually getting better. I'm just a little disappointed that after hearing what you had to say here too, that man, like I thought we were over this. I thought we were over the route running stuff, the effort,
and this
snap management.
And this is the part that I've learned.
He's been doing better on social media.
He has been.
His response to the TO stuff, he just posted an Instagram story. He said like, let's get back at it or something like that. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Yeah, I was happy for him because you never know. Some dudes react like, was it CJ Gardner-Johnson? Like, they gonna buck back and talk crazy to you media-wise. But it was like, for GP, man, that ain't your fight, bro. You want to look right, you want to move past it, go play well on Saturday, man. And I think he is starting to understand that. I just think the thing that I've learned more as like a retired guy, older guy, it's not always going to be perfect. And even when you show perfection, it's still not going to always be that every single week at that early stage. We want him to act like he's a 6, 7, 8 year vet. I just don't think that it's realistic at that stage. You know what I mean? And it's hard for us to kind of like think back to 23, 24 version of us and be like, yo, spotlight on you, man. Are you doing everything right every single time? And when you don't do it right, is it highlighted every single time? Because that's what GP is kind of going through. And it's unfortunate that, your lapse right here in focus turned into a turnover. But maybe that's one of the things that you needed as almost like a reinforcement. It was a negative reinforcement, but it still reminds you of, I got to do my job every time. Because even if I don't, I'm still going to have an impact on this team regardless if I want to or not. And hopefully for him, he learns it and he takes that part more serious. That's why Hines Ward was Hines Ward. That's why AB was AB. The talent is one thing, but to be able to be mentally locked in each and every day, each and every time, bro, that thing hard, man. It's late in the year. It's holidays. You got everything going on. You're like, bro, I got again? Like every single time? What if we lost? It doesn't matter. Every single time. You could do it perfect, and because I didn't do it well, you take the L. That don't mean you get to not show up and not still have to put that same stuff in. But that's why we say like the team, and especially in football, matters so much. We always say with 7, it's like, man, 7 could have had 20 championships. But if your team isn't always playing right, or if you don't have your best game, but the team isn't able to uplift, it's like, yo, now we screwed. And that's why we love football so much, because it's the ultimate team game, man. So for GP, I think that he's learned that, and hopefully we don't have this again. But he's young still, man, and that's what you're going to hear me say. Like, he's still young right now. Now, after next year, he ain't young no more. But he's still young right now. Right. I'm going to say, he ain't young after you get that 4th year. I'm like, no.
No more excuses next year?
After 4 years, like, hey, bro, you ain't a kid no more, bro.
Yeah, I think it's just frustrating because we see the talent with Pickens, and then you see other guys with that talent and what they're doing with it, like a Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. They're able to like be putting it all together like that. But maybe you just got to look at it as just dudes as individuals, right? Like you said, it's not always going to be perfect. Like Pickens is his own guy, and sometimes you do got to accept that. Like they're developing or growing at their own pace. Not everyone is going to come into the league as Justin Jefferson or Marvin Harrison. Everyone's got different upbringings and how they were taught in college, that type of stuff.
And I low-key feel like Jamar Chase, I feel like his temperament is very similar to George Pickens' temperament. I just think for him, he got paired with his quarterback. He's had Joe Burrow since college. Yeah. So the familiarity, the ability for that guy to get in his ear, that guy to know that, hey, if you do certain things, how it impacts me, I just don't feel like GP has had that consistently. He got here and it was like, it was Kenny. Or was it Mitch? Then it's, all right, now we're going over here. You're going to get some Phils. You're going to get some Russ now. Hey, it might not be them next year. It might not be either one of them next year. So I just think for him, that's kind of what he's going through with Justin Jefferson. He came into Kirk Cousins.
Right. At least,
you know what I mean?
Like, I'm not a fan of Cousins, but it was a stable guy, stable veteran. Right.
And then from Kirk, now last year was kind of chaotic, but he also wasn't a rookie anymore either. He's kind of like established. He's just that like good. He was the guy, Man, that's why you can see him elevate even to Sam Darnold. But even Sam Darnold is still a guy that it's like, yo, you've been around. You still, like, a certain professionalism that comes with it. And I think there's a little bit of a respect there. I just think for GP, man, his situation was just very different when he came into, where there's the Mitch part, switching to Kenny part. How talented do you think Kenny is? And then you get this offseason.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's been trending in the right direction.
And look, and this is
his best season in terms of like being a professional, being a Steeler, doing things the right way.
And this is all. There's been some hiccups, switch at coordinator and everything, man. Like it's just a lot of moving pieces for him. And it's a tough market to play in. We know
for sure.
Like you're going to be covered. You're going to be talked about across the board, man. If you play in Pittsburgh, I mean, shoot, that's why we do our shows, stuff that we do, man. But like the amount of media coverage on it, heck yeah, man. Like. So that also adds to it. If he's in Jacksonville, I don't think it's nowhere near the level of like loudness as it pertains to like his character. But, here we are.
Right.
Yep.
Good problem to have.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. All righty. And y'all don't forget to hit that like button one time for the culture and subscribe if you are new to the channel.